Welcome to Mission Ignition, a new leadership development podcast from Catalyzer and Catalyzer Media, organized to introduce you to our team and approach to igniting leadership growth in your organization. I'm Steve Ingalls, President and CEO at Catalyzer, and we're excited to share another episode with you. On that day that I may need to respond to an event like happened in Uvalde, that I'm confident, even though we may not have trained an active shooter response in a school setting, that I've gotten the building blocks and that I'm ready to enter that hallway.
And that's an important point. And, tragically, oftentimes it's going to be, some of our newest folks that come out and respond. And the reality is, Steve, we can see oftentimes those folks do respond very well. I believe that's to a large degree because we focus on, the outcomes and support them in taking action. I think anybody that's been in law enforcement for probably more than 3 or 4 or 5 years has at some point worked under a supervisor or leader who they may have lacked a little bit of trust to support them when they were making the best possible decisions they could. I can certainly attest in my career. I remember a few times I went through that, and it created at times a hesitancy to act. Because if you're more fearful for what administratively might come down or the potential for what you might think of as failure, you may be a little more hesitant to act. And I think as we grow our organizations, it's critical that, one, obviously within a police academy, they're getting the basic skills and building blocks there. But what they also need to be learning is how to work under leaders or for us to be the kind of leaders that give them that direction, that support. And as they go and do the things, even the basic daily tasks through a field training program, did they go under a field training officer who just liked to find the errors and the mistakes and point out where they were wrong? Or was it that field training officer who talked through a situation that didn't turn out, like they had hoped and said, okay, so what we learn out of it? And talk through those, what were the things that went right, et cetera. Taught them problem solving, also taught them, we're here together in a supportive environment. And for leadership, it's making that kind of an organization to support them, because the reality is almost every one of these that we've looked at with these active shooters, you're not up against somebody, you're not up against a special forces operator. You're up against people that if you can take reasonable decisions, dynamic action, you can shut them down. It's the vast majority of time, it's not being the best marksman, the best at every tactic, having the whole plan. It's having a reasonable plan, having a good skill set, and acting that we see that these individuals can be overcome. So I think creating that sort of a situation or that sort of an environment to work in, and that mindset can be the difference between success and failure. And again, that's teaching that leadership and giving them those opportunities to succeed and learn from things that don't go perfectly. And again, back to those in leadership, when our staff makes the best possible decision, they're literally putting their life on the line for the community, for people they don't know. That's the job that they took. Are we as leaders willing to put our reputation and our career on the line for them if things don't turn out perfectly? I think that's the dynamic role that those in leadership roll into, is being as willing to risk our careers for them as they are their lives for the citizens they're coming to protect.
Yeah, as you're talking, this conversation that you're having about making a mistake, considering that in the heat of the moment, it smells to me a bit like that's solving the wrong problem at that time. Your problem you're not trying to deal with is what happens if this goes wrong. No, what the problem that you're trying to solve is getting the thing that needs to get done in the moment, and then dealing with the rest of it, the aftermath later.
Exactly.
Thanks again for joining us on Mission Ignition. We hope you'll tune in again soon and make this one of your go-to sources for plain, practical thinking around the contemporary issues you, your leaders, and your organization are dealing with. In the meantime, please check us out on our website, at www.teamcatalyzer.com and on LinkedIn. Remember, regardless of what business you're in, we're all primarily in the people business. Now time to get out there and ignite some great.